Hello and welcome to the virtual titration experiment tutorial. Here I'll teach you how to download the titration experiment and begin the experiment on a Mac. If you're using a PC, please visit the video specifically developed for PC users. All right, before we begin, please make sure that your Arduino Uno is plugged into your Mac, as we'll need that later on in the video once I show you how to set up the experiment. The first thing we'll do is open up a browser. You can use any browser that you like. I'm just going to use Safari. Now, in this browser, we're going to go to where the experiment is stored. We have stored it on a website called GitHub. If you're not familiar with GitHub, don't worry. I'll show you exactly how to use it. To get to the website, we're going to type in this link right here. If you don't have it on hand, take a look at the screen and we have it here. It's github.com/fwlu1/virtual titration build. Feel free to pause the video now and type this into your search engine. I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste it into mine. Once you do that, your screen should look like this, and we can see here a list of all the files. In order to download the experiment onto your computer, we're going to have to follow a series of steps that may be unfamiliar to you. Don't worry, just pay attention closely, pause the video as needed, and I'll take you through it. First thing we'll do is we're going to click the green code button. You'll see here there's a link. We're going to copy it by clicking this button here, copy URL to clipboard. We've now copied this link. Okay, at this point, we're going to use something you may have never used before. It's called the terminal. Let's go up here to the top of our screen to the little magnifying glass. Once we click it, we're going to type in the word terminal and hit enter. This will open a small window here. This is the terminal. This is essentially a way of navigating your computer without using a mouse. Rather than clicking and dragging an icon, we're going to type in commands in order to navigate. The first thing we'll do is we're going to type in the word CD space capital D and then desktop. So CD space desktop, and we'll click enter. What this has done is now inside this terminal, we've actually navigated to our desktop. We can see it here on our screen, but in the terminal, we navigate to it by this command. Now that we've done that, we're actually going to download the project onto the desktop using a command. Here's how we'll do this. Type in the word git, put a space, type the word clone, put a space, and remember earlier we copied this link. We're now going to paste it into the terminal. You can do that by holding Command and pressing V, or you can right-click and click Paste. To make it stop highlighting, press the right arrow button on your keyboard. And now click Enter. Here what it is doing is downloading the project that you see here, the titration experiment, and it's putting it on your desktop. It appears that all of the steps of the process have been completed because it says done here. Now, if I look back at my desktop by minimizing this window, and I look up here, there is the project, virtual titration build. If I click it and open the folder, we can see here the files that were in the GitHub are now on our computer. Now, we're still not done using the terminal yet. There's one more thing we need to use it for. And what we need to do is this file here, we need to put that inside of the file for the titration experiment. We're going to use the terminal to do it. First, however, let's take a look at this file here. It says titrationmacbuild.zip. The titration experiment is in this zipped folder. Let's unzip it by double-clicking the file. Here it is. You can also zip it by just right-clicking and clicking open. The file is called short form, and the date is 3/2/24. We're going to rename this short form. Delete the date and just call it short form. This will make it easier to copy this file into later. All right, we're now going to use the terminal one more time. Here is how we'll do this. Go ahead and click the terminal. Type cd space desktop one more time, just to be sure that we are on the desktop. And now what we're going to do is type ls. If we type ls, it'll show you a list of all the files that are on your computer, just to be sure that you're on the desktop. Okay, now we're going to type cd space the name of the folder that we downloaded from GitHub. So I'm going to press the name of the folder, right click, copy. I'm going to go back here and I'm going to paste it. I'll do a right click, paste. I'll hit the right arrow key to get rid of that highlight, and I'll press enter. So inside the terminal, I'm actually now within that folder. Okay, I'm now going to copy this file into this file here, which is the titration experiment. Now watch carefully as I type these commands. It's a bit long. We will type cp space. We're going to put the name of this file now. So I'm going to come back over here. I'm going to click the name. I'm going to highlight the whole thing. Copy. Go back to the terminal. Paste. So far I have cp space, the name of that file, but there's more we need to add. I'm going to press the right arrow key. I'm going to push space again. And now we're going to put the name of the titration experiment file, which is short form. Here's how we'll do this, though. We'll start with quotation marks. Short form. Make sure you've capitalized the S and the F. And we're going to write .app and end with quotation marks. So this will have copied the file into the game, the titration experiment, but we need it in a particular folder within that experiment file. So what we're going to do is type a slash, then the word contents with a capital C, one more slash, capital M for Mac, capital O, and capital S. This is what your command line should look like. cp space the file name, space in quotation marks, short form.app, end quotation marks, slash contents slash macOS. Now that we've typed that, let's click enter. And the file has now been added to the titration experiment file. We no longer need the terminal. We can go ahead and exit out. Now we're ready to open the titration experiment. To do this, we'll go back to this folder and double click short form. Here the experiment opened with no problem, but what may happen on your computer is you may get an error message that states that because the experiment is a file that your computer isn't familiar with, it may try to stop you from downloading it. To work around that, what you will do is go to your settings, scroll down to privacy and security, and scroll down in your list of apps until you get to this part that says security. You'll see the name of the app here, short form. And there'll be a prompt that asks you if you would like to allow it to be downloaded or not. If you receive that error message, go ahead and allow it to be downloaded. You don't need to worry about any harm done to your computer. This application was developed safely. Let's exit out of our settings and we'll click Start. At this point in the experiment, you'll decide if you would like to use the keyboard or the burette. If you would like to use the keyboard, however, you will still need to type in the information I'm about to describe for the burette. Today I'll be showing you how to use the burette. So what we need is the name of your Arduino's port. What a port is essentially an identification marker for the Arduino. In order for the titration experiment to recognize the Arduino that's plugged into your computer, it needs to know the name of the Arduino's port. I'm going to show you now how to find that out. In this process, not only are we going to learn the name of the port of the Arduino, but we're also going to download a set of instructions onto your Arduino board in order for it to function as a burette. Here's how we'll do this. First, let's minimize this window. We'll close out this folder, and we're going to go back to our browser. We won't be in GitHub. Instead, what we're going to do is we're going to go to the Arduino website. If you don't have that link handy, take a look here, pause the video, and type this into your browser. It's www.arduino.cc/en/software. I'm going to copy it now, paste it into my browser, and here's what the website looks like. The program that we'll download onto our computer is called the Arduino IDE. This is a safe, trustworthy website, as is the program that we're about to download. If you scroll down here, the one you're going to download is the first macOS link. I've already downloaded this on my computer, so we're going to use the one that I've downloaded. I'm going to exit out of my browser. I'm going to go down here to the app. Once you've downloaded the Arduino IDE, this is what it'll look like. Let's click it. And here's what the program looks like. You see a set of instructions here. We're going to download our own set of instructions onto the board. Now, the instructions that you'll see on your screen are not the instructions that we need. They're actually located in the original folder that we downloaded right here, the virtual titration build. Let's open that up again. And we're going to click on the folder that's called potentiometer_read. Open up the folder, and here you have the same name, but now you see here on the left, we have that little Arduino icon. Let's double click it in order to open it. Now you'll open it. You'll see the set of instructions that are going to go onto your computer and onto your Arduino board. The first thing we'll need to do is click on the top. For you, it'll ask you to choose a board name. And my computer's already recognized the name of my board. For you, you'll just click Arduino Uno. Unless you have another Arduino plugged in, yours should also say Arduino Uno. So you'll select that. In order to get these instructions onto our board, we first need to verify that they're written correctly. To do that, we're going to click the check mark. It says verify. After it says done compiling, we're going to click the arrow that says upload. This will upload the instructions to the Arduino board. If you've done so, you may have noticed out of the corner of your eye that your Arduino's light has blinked. One way you can check that the code has been uploaded correctly is if you go up here to the little hourglass, pardon me, the magnifying glass, it says serial monitor. When you click on that, you'll see a list of varying numbers. That's a good sign that your Arduino is working properly. And if you twist your potentiometer, you can actually make the numbers vary on your own. Finally, we need to get the name of the Arduino board. To do that, we're going to go up here to where it says Tools. After you click Tools, if you go down to where it says Port, you should see something that says along the lines of USB modem, some numbers, and then the name Arduino Uno. That is the name of your port. If it's not already selected, go ahead and select it. It'll look just like this, but have different numbers at the end. This name is what we need to type exactly into the titration experiment, word for word, letter by letter, with no spaces. Because this is a bit long, what I'm going to do is take a screenshot of it. I'm going to drag it up here for me to reference later. At this point, it's okay for you to close the Arduino IDE, as well as the virtual titration build folder. Let's open up the titration experiment again. And now we're ready to type in that Arduino port name. We'll delete the placeholder text that's there. Please note that it's important that you type in the name exactly. If there's even one character that's incorrect or an added space, the experiment will not accept the name of the port and you'll not be able to advance. Also note that the name of the port will not include quotation marks. Let me show you what happens if you include quotation marks. So I'll type it exactly, /dev/cu.usb modem 11401, quotation mark. I click check. It says port not found, check spelling. If I now delete the quotation marks and click check, it now says port found, your burette is ready for use. That other error message it shows will always show if you've added or subtracted any characters. We're now able to click next. Here you see the narrative for the experiment. To advance from this, we will click the next button twice. And now we are inside of the experiment. And you are ready to begin your titration.